I have to ask you, you tweeted about this, other people have speculated as well. Do you think that Hillary Clinton, of all people, might be hinting at a 2024 presidential run, given her recent comments about Joe Biden's age?
I don't think you can hint with a sledgehammer. So no, I mean the fact that she look, let's be very clear, she's never recovered from being defeated by President Trump in 2016. At the time, she outspent us by 100%. We spent $700 million on the campaign. She spent, legally that we know of, $1.4 billion. So she's never recovered from that. She spent the last 7 years saying the Russians stole it from me. She will never be the president of the United States, but she desperately wants to come back. And with Biden's Department of Justice in the Her report last week, stating that this man is senile, doesn't even know when he was vice president, doesn't know the year of his son's death, it's clear that the Democrats are throwing him under the bus, as we say here.
Yeah, that's sort of my impression as well, that they're throwing Joe Biden under the bus, because I have a theory about that. I think they're trying to sabotage him because look at the recent press conference, for instance, that he did where he confused Egypt and Mexico, the one that he did just after the Her report. The first journalist he called on was Peter Doocy of Fox News, who was never going to go easy on him. He's notorious of going at those Democrat figures, and yet he was the first person Biden called upon, and all of which would have been scripted, of course. Do you really think they are going to turf Joe Biden?
Well, you need to watch the rest of the press conference, because myself and my friends in the conservative media, several of us have said that that was the official end of the Biden administration, because he may have called on Peter Doocy first, but then it was the press conference, the likes of which we haven't seen for 3 years, because they screamed at him. And the mainstream legacy lapdog left-wing media said, why do you think you're mentally competent? Shouldn't somebody else be the candidate? So, after 3 years of having the press ask him, tough questions like literally, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? They turned on him. So, yeah, it's not just Hillary Clinton. When you've got, the likes of, Bill's former advisor on television saying that, he is too old, they realize he's become an albatross. Look, if the election were today, President Trump would probably romp home with a 49-state victory like Reagan did in 1980. So they know that they have a big problem, because not only is the first man senile, his replacement, Kamala Harris, couldn't even garner 3% in the Democrat primaries. This woman couldn't get 3% in her own party's primaries. So how are they going to beat Donald Trump?
Well, exactly, and I mentioned in my editorial a lot of the polling we're seeing is very favourable for Trump. He's consistently sort of a point or so ahead of Biden in the general election polls, but the telling one was a recent poll of the battleground stage, which of course are what decides the Electoral College, where he was a full 5 points ahead of Biden. And this is remarkable because of the lawfare campaign that's going on against him, the media campaign that's been going on against him for, 7 years. Is this testament to how much people love Donald Trump, or is it testament to how much they hate what's going on with the direction of the country at the moment?
Yes. Yes, it is both. So we know that at least 8 million illegals have crossed the border. We have crime out of control in Democrat-run cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Baltimore, Detroit. In Chicago, an average weekend sees 22 people shot and at least a dozen murdered. That's worse than Kabul. So whether it's that, whether it's the economy under Joe Biden, whether it's war in Europe, war in the Middle East, surrender in Afghanistan, there's lots of reasons not to vote for Joe Biden. And then on the flip side, President Trump, people can remember, kept us safe, kept us secure, closed the border, prevented war for 4 years. We had no wars. No, Putin didn't invade anybody for 4 years. And on top of that, a lot of Americans, even if they don't follow politics religiously, they understand that the leader of the opposition facing 730 years in prison, that's police state tactics. So yes, they've had enough of Biden and they want President Trump back.